Hi guys, welcome to another Creative Tap tutorial. Now in this third video for our lighting series, I'm going to be showing you how to put this scene together. It's kind of been playing a lot of Dead Island recently, so it's kind of a little bit inspired by that. And I'll be showing you how to get the shadows here from the barbed wire that's moving, and how to actually get the light to flicker like this as well. So let's dive on in. Now all of the stop this from previewing. All of the project files that we're using today, that'll be the barbed wire, this floor grey, and also a font which I've downloaded called Bloody CRE. I'll leave links to the description in that. I'll also leave links to the previous two lighting tutorials as well. But yeah, let's dive on in. So I'm just going to go composition, new composition, and let's call it Run Dead Island, because that's kind of what was inspired off a little bit. Okay, first of all, I'm going to get my floor grey in here. It's just a grunge texture, and I'm going to scale this down. Okay, just like so we fill the scene. I'm then going to get my text tool, and I'm going to type on just the word run with an exclamation mark. You can type on whatever text you want. Now again, link to the font will be in the description below. I'm going to turn my blending mode to, I think, soft light. Yeah, just kind of looks on there then. Maybe move the position of this text over a bit, like so. Yeah, that's fine. I may play with the scaling later. What I want to do is I want to pre-comp these into their own composition. So if I just go Command-Shift-C, and let's go text on wall. Bang. I also want to make this now a 3D layer, so I can move this back in 3D space if I so wish, and I'll need to do that later. Anyway, next I'm going to get my barbed wire in, okay? And so I'm going to bring it in, and we've got this, and let's see if we scale it down a touch. No, we don't need to. So the width is the width of our composition. Now I want to get rid of the green, so I'm going to go to my effects and presets. I'm just going to go to Key Light 1.2, drag this onto my barbed wire, get my little eyedropper tool, click the green, and we've got rid of that. I do want to change my final result to screen matte, and that is going to let me just go through and just come into the screen matte options, bring the clip black up to about, we can be fine with this, 30 will be fine. Go to final result, and I think there's a little bit, let me just turn this up to half resolution, maybe a little bit of an edge in there, so we can go shrink grow, screen shrink / grow to -1 just to be safe. Bring that in, and it just brings it in a little bit. I don't really think we actually had to that, but I just wanted to. Okay, so next I want to get a curves and chuck a curves onto this because it's a little bit too blue at the moment, and so I'm going to go into the blue of the curves, and I'm going to take some of this out just like so, just a little bit. Okay, great. Now next thing I want to do is I want to rotate this by, let's say, 90 degrees and just move it across. Okay, so I want to start laying things out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down where it says one view, and I'm going to change this to 2 views horizontal, okay? I'm also going to make my barbed wire a 3D layer. So what we've got in our left view, this text off wall, we can move this back in 3D space, so it moves it. Let's zoom out. It moves it away from the camera because we want this to be in the background. And I'm going to move this down to about here. And so if we look at our position, we've got this third one by here. This is the X, this is the Y, and this value is the Z. And you can see it goes back and forth there. Okay, so now that this we're losing these edges, I'm just going to scale this up slightly. Okay, so we've got this off in the back like so, and I'm just going to move that across. There we go. So we've got this there. Excellent. Awesome. Next I'm going to take this barbed wire. I'm going to move this one a little bit closer, and so a little bit further away from the camera, and just by here. I'm also going to go to its Z rotation and give it a little bit of a tilt. Okay, great. I'm going to move it up, and then I'm going to set a keyframe for the position and come forward to about, let's say, 6 seconds. Yeah, 6 seconds. And then I'm going to move this down So it's got a little bit of movement between these two parts, okay? What I'm also going to do is, I only want my composition to be 6 seconds long, so I'm going to come to here, hit N on the keyboard, and it'll just pull our work area in. Then you can right click just by here, and trim comp to work area. So this is our whole composition length, so that's what we've got. Great, now what we want to do is we want another piece of this barbed wire, so with the layer selected I'm going to go Control D, and let's just collapse these, and I'm going to hit U on this layer, and I'm going to get rid of these keyframes that are on there, okay? I'm also going to make another Control D, so I've got actually 2 more of these, but I'm going to turn these ones off and come to our original. Now I'm going to move this one across, just so we've got one by here, hit R, and then I'm going to change the rotation, okay, and I'm also going to make this one quite close to the camera, and just bring it down like that, okay? So how is our first one animated? That's going down, so I want this one to maybe go up, so let's bring it down here, set a keyframe for the position, then come to the end, and we have this one going upwards like so. Fantastic. On to the next one. Let's turn this on, and it's all the way back over here, so we're going to move it, maybe hit R, rotate it around, so something like that, bring this up, there we go, and bring it a little bit closer towards camera, there we go, somewhere in the middle, and now we're going to bring it so it's like that, and we're going to animate this one now. So hit P, we've got it in our where we want it to start, so let's set a keyframe at the beginning, come to the end, and boom, Bob's your uncle. We've got 3 at the moment, move in like so, and I don't know where I want this last one now, so let's turn the eye for the last one on, and select it, it's over right here. Okay, in terms of framing, I might go for one along the bottom, so let's hit R, and let's get this one along the bottom like that, and I want to bring this one again quite close to the camera, maybe the furthest out, and let's move it up, and okay, let's bring it, so it starts off by here, set a keyframe for position at the beginning, and then we're going to animate this going across like so. Okay, now these are the ones I've got at the moment, and you can see kind of how they're working. I think I am going to add another one, so Command D or Control D on the top one, bring this up. Actually, before we do that, now I've duplicated that one, I want to delete the keyframes that were already on there. Okay, now I can start moving this top one like so, rotate it around just so we frame this run a little bit better. I'm also going to push this one away from the camera quite a bit and move it up. Okay, now it's going to frame it, so I just need to come back to the beginning, move this, give it a keyframe on the position, and come to the end, bring it along that axis. So now we've got that kind of nicely framed. So this is what we've got. We've got all these kind of bits of barbed wire in different depth, and this is our background. Excellent. So what we want to do now is go to Layer, New, and we want to get light. And this one we want it to be a point light. So just make sure that's selected. Intensity we'll leave it 100. Actually, change intensity to 50, and click OK. So what we've got is we've got this light, and we can move this back and forth. I'm going to bring it out to here, so it will illuminate our first. Which one's this? Our first. Which we call it barbed wire. If it's in front, that'll be completely black, and that you may want that, but it's completely up to you. But I want to have a little bit of light on there. Okay, I'm going to move this light kind of down and just to this. Oh, moving the wrong thing. And then I'm going to move it to the side, and maybe a little bit more down. Okay, so it's up to you where you kind of have it. Actually, maybe I'm going to have it over here. Something like that. Okay, cool. Now we're going to go into the properties of this light. So let's come in down and transform. No, sorry, light options. And where we've got this intensity, we actually want to keyframe this. Okay. sorry, incorrect. We want to put an expression on it. So if I go Alt-click on this, actually let's see what expression I used on this one. How much of wiggle? So wiggle 8, 10. Right, okay. So I was playing around, and it just means I don't have to play around with different ones because I know what worked last time. So I'll Alt-click the intensity. Wiggle 8 times 10. Okay. So now what we're going to have is that's actually going to fluctuate, okay? It's going to fluctuate. So we put it on 50, and it'll fluctuate then 10 times a second by a value of 8. Okay, and you can change these numbers around if you wanted to do it more times a second, or if you want to have it fluctuating by a larger number. Let's put this to 50, for example. Ooh. If we were to put this first number to 50, no, I think the second number, actually, I always forget. There we go. Now, what we'll have is a much bigger fluctuation. So instead of fluctuating by 8 times a second by a value of 10, it's fluctuating 8 times a second by a value of 50, okay? So again, if I were to go 8, 10, it's going to fluctuate 8 times a second, but just by a value of 10. Now, that's all very well and good. We've got the flickering light, but what we want is shadows. So we want to make sure in our light options of the point light, we want to turn cast shadows to on, okay? And then we want to go to each of these barbed wires. So I'm going to select them all, hit the drop down, go to material options, cast shadows, turn that to on, and it'll actually turn it to on for all of them. Okay, so let's break that down. There we go. So what we've got at the moment is we've got our shadows. So if we were to move this around, like so, you can see that's what's happening. So I think I'm going to move mine, have it to maybe round about, let's see where it looks good. So you may want to kind of, actually after you've done this, you may want to kind of move yours around just to see what's kind of working, and I think I'm going to go with something like that. But what we want to do is go back into the point light settings, shadow darkness. I'll normally set this to about 25, and let's go back into one view now because we've moved it around as much as we want. So it was on 100, but I actually want it to be on about 25, so the darkness isn't too much, and also diffusion will kind of blur it. So if we turn that to 10, we've got a little bit of a blur on there, and maybe turn the shadow darkness back up to 40 maybe. Okay, so we've got shadows there. So if we zoom in, we've got a few shadows there, and if you were to move the light around, like with the transform settings, you know, your shadows are going to also move. So kind of whatever kind of suits you. I think I'm going to, in this case, go for this. So we've got a little shadow there, great. So now if we play, we'll have our light sort of flickering. Let's turn this down to 3rd resolution just so it goes quicker. We'll have our shadows moving, our light flickering, and that is basically how you get it working. So with your light, just make sure cast shadows is on. You can change how dark they are and how blurred they are, and then just make sure that the 3D layers that you want to cast shadows, go into the material options and make sure cast shadows is on by selecting them all and just doing it once on one of them. That'll do it for all of them, okay? So this is what we kind of end up with. Just a little kind of cool little thing. You've got all of these now set up in Z-Space, so if we were to come to our 2 views, you can see what's happening. We've got a light here, static. These are all static in Z-Space, but they are moving left to right / up and down, and this one's static in the background with our text on there. Okay, so that was a little quick tutorial on implementing shadows and a flickering light inside of After Effects. So I hope you guys learned something. Feel free to check out some of our other tutorials. Give us a like and a subscribe if it helped. And yeah, hopefully see you guys again soon.